after I had finished my Bible college education in 1996, one day after church, at the back of the church, my Bible college professor shared a story with me and two other women. It was really interesting. It was about a cartoon diamond, an animated diamond named Cody. And I think the story was called something like Cody the Coal Meister. And it was about how this diamond went from a transformation from just this ugly piece of coal to this beautiful shaped diamond. And when I heard that story, I just had this epiphany. Like, wow, that is so cool. Like, using concepts from nature and telling this literary story. And then at that time, I was involved with Christianity. I'm actually now, I just identify as spiritual. I don't want you to think that I'm faith-based. Long story there. But anyways, I was just mesmerized at the transformation of, that in reality, in nature, how a piece of coal ends up through, different pressures of heat and intensity of heat and pressure, and then how diamonds are formed that way. So I actually went on, after I heard that story, I was inspired to write my own stories. So my very first story was called Minty the Caterpillar's Change. And it was just, and I know there's probably like dozens of other cartoonish stories out there about the metamorphosis of a monarch butterfly from caterpillar to beautiful monarch butterfly. But I wrote my own story, and I just dug it up recently. I dug up this series of stories because I'm thinking of publishing them. I publish them on the computer, but I need to do illustrations. But my whole point in sharing this with you is just how innate and how natural it came to me to create unit studies. And I've shared a video about creating science-based unit studies from your child stories. And I happen to be, when I was a kid, I think it started in 4th grade, I started writing stories. I had a really inspirational teacher named Mr. Skeel, and he taught us all kinds of really cool things. And back then I think it was 1980 or late 70s, early 80s. No, it was in the early 80s. I was living in Tivoli, New York, in a foster home with the Ladus. We lived on a farm. But Mr. Skeel really inspired me with his teaching. And I started writing just creative stories about horses. I fell in love with horses, and I still have some of them buried in my files. I dug out my files so that I could look at my stories that I wrote as a kid and then in college. So my great point in all of this is that your kids, you might have kids, maybe not all your kids, but if your kids love to write stories, use that for a unit study. Right there is your unit study content, and then grab the link in this post, wherever it is, just grab the link to my free unit study planner, and it will help guide you in, creating a unit study out of your children's homegrown, home-written stories. So whatever your kids like to write about, whether it be on the computer or, some kids like to handwrite. I loved handwriting. Of course, I grew up without computers in the 70s and 80s. But I loved writing and illustrating my own stories. So if you have kids like that, use that as fodder for unit studies. And that's what I did with my Minty the Caterpillar's Change story. And I went on to write Margaret the Oyster Pearl and Ruby Rose and Emerald Max, which actually was a kickoff from the Cody the Coal Meister story that I first heard from my professor Jackie. And, I'm just so excited about this whole idea of starting from a story and then Like you pull out your math, you pull out, of course, literature, art, because your kids illustrating their own story. Mathematics can always be found in whatever kind of creative writing. Math is just everywhere. It's so rich. So yeah, this is also segueing into my new ebook. It's called Math Learning Secrets. And within my stories, I did pull out math, and I'm encouraging you to do that with your children's stories as well. But in my Math Learning Secrets guide, I teach you to first de-school from traditional math methods, to notice math everywhere, to set up a rich resource learning center or learning resource area, not a traditional classroom with like the chalkboard and, but like have tables and, little nooks in your house where your kids can go and just really become scholars, and do it in this free roaming, free range, rich way with you as their guide. So I am about to release this book. I'm going to be waiting until after the Christmas season. It's just too hectic. I thought I was going to release it Christmas week, but that just doesn't make sense right now. So it'll be shortly, most likely right after New Year's, I'll be releasing Math Learning Secrets. So if you want to hear when it's first released, click on the link, get my free unit study, and you will be the first to hear when I release Math Learning Secrets. Super excited about that. And it will teach you 5 secrets on liberating your homeschool math and using math in like unit study format to also pull in the other subjects and just have a rich learning environment that liberates you from the rigidity of divided subjects, the rigidity of lecture, and all the pressure being on you to teach all the subjects. So I'm super excited to share that jewel, Math Learning Secrets, with you. All right, again, just click on the link, get my free unit study. That will add you to my wait list, and you will be the first to hear when Math Learning Secrets comes out. Also, watching me here on YouTube, give me a thumbs up, smash that subscribe button, ding that little bell, and scroll on down, give me a comment, your thoughts about this post today.